And welcome back. Well, Florida Cancer Specialists and Research Institute is the largest privately owned oncology practice in the United States. And joining me today is Brad Prechtel, CEO, and Dr. Lauterstein from the Florida Cancer Specialists and Research Institute. And we also have Patrick Marston, the founder of Optimal Outcomes. Well, welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. So let's just start off. There has been a lot of new advancements in cancer research. So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, glad to. We have really entered a new era in the treatment of cancer patients where we truly target the specific features of the patient's cancer. This has taken a significant amount of research across the world and certainly in the United States. And we're able to offer treatments that recognize the particular characteristics of the patient's tumor. We have guided missiles now that can target cancers such as breast cancer or colon cancer, lymphomas, melanomas, kidney cancer, that we couldn't have dreamed of 20 years ago. So it has been truly revolutionary what's happened in the last 10 to 15 years.
Wow. And you guys really are the leaders in this area. Brad, tell us about the new facility that you're building, because that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'd love to. We have a new facility that's being built here in the Tampa market. Okay. It's going to be 35,000 square feet. And the unique thing about it is the fact that it's going to allow our patients to come to one facility and receive the following services. Not only traditional medical oncology services and infusion, but also we'll have clinical research offered at that location, radiation therapy, as well as diagnostic services. So in one location, the majority of services that are required to treat a cancer patient will be offered.
Wow, so it's really a one-stop place, which is great because you have the stress of what's going on when you have cancer. So that's really good to hear and very like a unique model. So thank you.
Exactly. And the nice part about that too is a patient doesn't have to go to 4 or 5 different locations for the services that they would require.
It alleviates a lot of stress and lets them get to what's important, which is treating the cancer.
Exactly.
So, Patrick, tell me about how does Optimal Outcomes play into this whole thing?
We are the development partner for FCS and are constructing and owning with FCS the new facility. We're excited about it. We've worked with the partners of FCS previously, and they're fairly progressive in terms of their design. We're utilizing something called evidence-based design, which is certainly not new. It's been used in a number of other industries, but it's getting greater attention as it relates to healthcare. And essentially, it's taking research and experience and designing a healthcare facility for the best outcomes as it relates to patients. So this new facility incorporates that, and the administration and the physicians of FCS have worked hard to make sure the layout's right, to make sure that it's a low-stress environment. And there's a lot of empirical evidence in what we do that suggests that lighting, coloration, types of finishes, what have you, really impact patient outcomes.
So really, you guys have paid attention to all the details, which is really impressive.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of work on that side.
It does take a lot of work, and again, these guys have been tremendous partners and put a lot of effort into it, as well as us and our design team.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, Doctor, tell us about clinical trials, because one of the things that you guys do or have access to are really cutting-edge clinical trials, and a lot of people are intimidated by clinical trials, and they really shouldn't be.
That's a very important question. Truly, it's important to understand that the major advances in cancer treatment that have occurred over the last 10 to 15 years are the result of very carefully conducted clinical trials. We would not have those advances if it hadn't been for these clinical trials. So it is an integral part of what we do in cancer medicine. At Florida Cancer Specialists, we're able to offer the cutting edge of the new treatments available, and we're able to do this through our affiliation with the Sarah Cannon Research Institute. Sarah Cannon is the largest clinical trials organization in the United States and probably in the world that is privately owned. And they operate a vast network of affiliation with pharmaceutical companies, so that the moment something is available for treatment, as approved by the Food and Drug Administration, we have it available to our patients.
Wow.
So this puts us in an equal footing to major academic centers like the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston or the Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital in New York. And we are able then, through our network, which is truly almost 50 cancer treatment centers and almost 120 medical oncologists, we're able to offer all this to the majority of the communities in West Florida and Central Florida.
Wow, which is pretty impressive. And I want to note that a lot of patients, when they hear clinical trials, they think, oh, it's going to be an experiment. I'm going to be a guinea pig. It's a last resort. But that really isn't the case. I think it's really important.
You're correct that there is a misconception out there. And one of our major challenges is really to dispel that misconception and be able to educate the public at large and certainly our patients about the fact that every major treatment that we're able to offer today is the result of a clinical trial that was conducted 10 years ago. So we encourage our patients to participate in clinical trials, and the more patients participate in clinical trials, the faster we'll get to our quest of obtaining cures that we can then offer to them.
Wow, a lot of great information. So, Brad, tell us a little bit more about the facility, because that's going to be pretty impressive, and what the opening date is.
The opening date is planned for the third quarter of 2012. Wow. And what this facility does, and it kind of goes back to what our goal is throughout all of FCS, is we wanted to remove the barriers for patient care. So it's easy access for the patient. They don't have to go to multiple locations like we talked about previously. And in one location, they get the services that we talked about before, which is radiation therapy, infusion, clinical research, lab, imaging. So I think it'll be a great thing for our patients, and based upon what Patrick stated as well, it's going to be an environment that's very warm and friendly for the patient.
And I think that's important to go back to, because, like I said, a lot of things are very cold and almost, I don't want to say, almost when you walk in, it's almost debilitating. So tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing, or what you've seen change, or what's going to change.
Certainly, and I think your comment about debilitating space is accurate. What we're shooting for is a general statement, again, is to reduce patient stress, and ways that we do that is, you'll notice when you walk into the facility, it's a very non-institutional setting. We utilize a lot of nature pieces, live plants, a lot of finish elements that reduce noise. So the idea is, when you go into that place, and again, going to a cancer treatment center is generally not a positive underlying reason for being there, so we're trying to make that as patient-friendly as possible. So it relates to everything from the way the building is designed, to the way that the staff greets people, and the way that the patients flow through.
So you really have crossed every T and dotted every I in this new facility, but you have existing facilities, since we don't, some people can't obviously wait till 2012. How do they find you now?
If they go to www.flcancer.com, it lists all of our locations. And what's unique about Florida Cancer as well, we're community-based. We have 105 physicians currently, but nearly 50 locations. So on the west coast of Florida, patients have access to multiple locations, and our goal is to keep patients close to home.
And that's important in rehabbing or surviving cancer. So I just really want to thank you guys for coming in. A lot of great information. Really excited about the new facility. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll have more right after this short break. Well, that's all we have time for this week. I'm Kelly Lightbourne. Thanks for watching. Consumer Update has been brought to you by the Zephyr Hills Auto Festival, Famous Tate, and Florida Cancer Specialists and Research Institute.